This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2021 Flagstaff E Pro 12 SRK. Okay, we'll start right here on the door side, outside. Right here you can see it's your griddle. So the griddle obviously hangs on this rail here. There's also, you can also put this plastic table on there also. So it's a utility table. They'll both fit on there. You have your grill rack here, and then the grill, of course, is attached to the rack itself. You have to supply LP to this griddle, so you use this hose here, and this hose plugs in the back here with a quick connect, and then down here is another one, and you'll plug the other end in there and turn the valve on. You can see there's a black handle. You move that parallel with the fitting itself to turn it on, and you can use this, or you can, if you like a grill better, you can always find a grill. It just has to be one that'll fit this rail. I keep calling it a rail, I'm sorry, this rack, and it has to be low pressure appliance. That's important. Okay, so let me go around here. So you got two 12-volt deep cycle marine batteries. They're wired together at 12-volt output, and basically they just double the storage capacity, which really comes in handy when you're inverting power. We'll talk about that more, but this will invert 12-volt DC and invert it up to 110 AC, or over to 110 AC. And it'll go the other way. It'll turn 110 AC and it will convert it to 12-volt DC. So we'll talk about that as we go around here. This thing on the front here is called a, well, there's a lot of terms for it. It's a jacket, but people refer to them as rabbit ears or antlers. There's all kinds of names for them. But basically it'll stow two bicycles, one on this side and one on this side. Also, inside the trailer there's another attachment, like this one here, but it has an angle on it. So if you need to move the whole thing back or forward to fit your configuration, you can do that. Most people just leave it straight up. That's adequate, but if not, you can do that. Okay, now keep in mind, it's very hard to see here. Where's my flashlight? Excuse me. Okay, right down here, right in there, is a kill switch. It's just a knob that you'll turn, and you can turn the batteries on or off. That way, if you put it into storage for a period of time, you can just turn the batteries off. So there are some items, or the main item that's hardwired is the carbon monoxide LP gas detector. That's hardwired directly to the battery, so if you shut all the switches off in the trailer, it's still going to draw from it. So if you flip that switch, it'll kill everything. Okay. Two LP tanks, of course, with a regulator, an automatic regulator that switches from tank to tank as they empty out. The power tongue jack, up and down, and also a light, hitching light. You can pull this plug on the top, and there's a crank inside the trailer. You could take this piece out and you can actually put it in there and crank this manually if you had to get yourself out of trouble. If it failed or there was damage or something, you can always get out of trouble. Right now it comes with a wheel and a foot, so right now the wheel's on it, makes it easier to move it around by yourself. But you could also put the foot on it, depending. That's the crank to pull your spare tire loose. That's 3/4 inch. Also you have 3/4 inch or stabilizer type jacks, scissor type stabilizer jacks. It has a 3/4 inch fitting on it. You can use the crank, or a 3/4 inch socket for that also. So you use that for 3 different applications if you need to. Now there is an onboard fresh water tank with this, right? You can either get city water, which is regular. You just hook the hose up right here, turn it on, and everything's pressurized, ready to go. Now if you go to a campground or a campsite that does not have city water on it, you can pre-fill your fresh water tank right here, and there's an onboard pump, and so you can just basically pump the water and everything will work just like it normally would. So that's a great feature to have. And when you dump it, it's got this quick dump valve, the white one right there. It's just a gate valve that will just whoosh, it'll empty it out in just a couple seconds. So you don't have to drive around with it. This here, this is a vent. a plumbing vent. This here is just a hookup for a solar battery charger. If you ever wanted to get a solar battery charger, something to charge your battery, something with a long cord so you can move it so it gets a good angle on the sun, that sort of thing, you just plug it in right there. This is your city water connection, which I told you about, and this right here is use it to put antifreeze into your trailer before the winter time. So when you're going to winterize your trailer, you pump antifreeze in through here. You have to read the directions a bit to know how to do that, but it's very simple, and anyone can do it if they put their mind to it and decide that's what they're going to do. And some people will just be self-evident how it works. Other people, who are less inclined, can figure it out no problem. Now, this is the water heater, right? It works on gas. Right now it's empty. The water heater tank is empty because you can see there's the plug is out, and so that's the drain hole there. This long thing here is the plug. The metal part on it, the rod part, is called an anode rod. It's just a sacrificial rod. The material that the anode rod is made of is an easier target for minerals and things in the water that'll damage your tank lining. So it'll just they will attack and eat this rod before they'll get to the lining of your tank, so it doesn't eat away the lining of the tank. Depends on what kind of water you're using. That could last you 3 years. It just depends, so keep an eye on it. Every time each season you'll pull it out to drain, take a look at it. If most of it's eaten away, then you can get another one. The switch to operate the water heater is on the inside of the trailer. I'll show you that. Actually, it's in the back. Alright, so I think I've got everything there. Now there's a ladder inside the trailer that fits over this tire, and you can actually climb up on it. It's more like a step than a ladder, I guess. Okay. This, just so you know, this is the gray water tank holds basically sink water in this trailer. So this is the dump here for the sink gray tank. So you can, once it's full, you can go ahead and dump it there. To know if it's full, you can check. There's your battery, fully charged. You go to this one, empty. Let me see if I can see what they said. That was the fresh water. It's empty. The gray water is empty, and of course there's no toilet in it, so you don't have to worry about the black water. And it'll graduate as it fills. They'll graduate up in 1/3 increments, and those LEDs will light up. So you'll know that once you get past 2/3 on the gray tank, you're going to have to start thinking about dumping it, that sort of thing. All right, this is to light your water heater, just like that. Always make sure there's water in the water heater tank before you turn on the gas to heat it up. This is a GFCI here, and it's also inverted. So you can plug something on 110 AC appliance into here, and it'll run off the inverter. That's the only, I believe, the only plug in the trailer that does it. Also, your battery is attached to the inverter. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Your refrigerator is attached to the inverter. So you can draw power from the batteries. It'll invert the 12 volt DC to 110 AC. Okay. So therefore you can camp and have refrigeration with using battery power. Okay. Of course, the microwave works like any other microwave. This, you're going to have one side is for let's see here. Yeah, well, this one I'm just trying to see what this is. Just a regular hot cold setup here. Okay, I was thinking for a minute that they were split, but it's not. You see there's antifreeze coming out of here. Well, mostly out now. It's pink. Now this is a quick connect fitting here, so you can snap this loose and you can put there's a shower attachment you can put on here, and you can actually clean things off or hose yourself off. Now underneath this back door, you can see there's metal cleats. Like, I don't know if you can tell well, you can see them. Right here is one. Here is one. There's one. There's one. So there's I guess you would call it a curtain or a tent that snaps up there all the way around it. It velcros to the trailer, and you can use that for privacy. You can use it for whatever you want to use it for. Okay. Okay. So let me see. I think that's that. Yes. Yes. This cooktop, you're just going to turn it on and use a grill lighter to light it. That's all. In here, every appliance in here has its own manual or brochure, so you can learn about your trailer there. This is the shower, the sprayer I told you about right here. This device here is a sensor that will tell you the pressure of your tires and the temperature of your wheels. It's been programmed by us, because you can program it for up to a tractor trailer. It's kind of confusing at first, but basically when you look at it, you'll see the wheels, which represents an axle with a wheel on each side. You're only going to use one on this one. They show several options, but you'll see only one is operating. That's because you only have one axle on this. If you ever wanted to add a kit to your trailer or to your tow vehicle, they have the type of sensors that screw on, and you can do it that way. And you could actually, monitor your vehicle too. But keep in mind that basically the sensor is on the inside of the tire on the wheel, directly opposite of the valve stem. So right about there, inside there is the sensor that this thing reads. Okay, if that makes sense to you. So this already comes with a sensor, it's already on there. If you wanted to add your tow vehicle, you can buy it. You'd have to go on their website and look, but you can get an attachment that screws right on the valve stem. And okay, or else get it mounted on a wheel too. But I'm not sure what's entailed there, but I'm sure you can find out. All right, so keep in mind now that this does have a solar panel on it, and we're inside now, so we're not going to see a whole lot. But you can push B. You don't pay attention to A because both batteries are wired together, so it's not A and B battery, it's just B. All right, so the solar panel right there, they're showing you. First, well, let me do it this way. Okay, so we have 13.7 volts in the system, which is great. Right now we're getting 0.0 amps from the sun. See the sun going to the, that depicts the panel on the roof, so we're getting nothing. As you get out in the sun, it'll change, 3.3 or 4.7 or whatever. It tells you what kind of amperage is being put into your batteries. Okay, the rest is pretty much self-explanatory. There's also 100% charged and amp hours, so that's only because we're not in the sun. That's not working right now. Okay, all right. So that's something it's pretty basic, but you're just going to monitor the solar panel and the condition of your batteries from there. Okay, on the roof we can't see very well, but it has a rack up there to tie off whatever you want to put up there, kayaks. You can buy the attachments, whatever you need to do. All right, so right here, this is the furnace, which is behind here. It just runs on LP, and that's where you operate it. You want the white lever on the top, if you can see it, clicked all the way over to the left to shut it off. You got to hear it click to make sure it's off. So keep that in mind also. Moving over a little bit here, this is the LP gas and carbon monoxide detector. I'll just set it off right there. It'll go through 2 self-tests, another one coming up, and then it'll be very slowly. And then back to green. So if it senses carbon monoxide or LP gas, it'll alert you, obviously, and you want to get out of the trailer, shut the gas off, and figure out what's going on. If it beeps very slowly like it did, that's telling you your battery is low, or batteries in this case. So it's an excellent thing to have. It's very important, and so you always want to make sure that it's green like it is now. If not, you want to get it serviced. All right, so this is a control for the inverter. This is the panel for the converter. Okay, so let's start over here. Alright, so you can see you have regular household type circuit breakers right there, and they're labeled. That's just regular 110 or 120, it's the same thing, volt AC power, so it's what your house runs on basically. Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC over here, and these are 12 volt fuses, and they're all labeled. And this is where the DC power comes from. It's the same power that comes from the battery, or the sun for that matter. Alright, so that converts for AC to DC. Also, if you if it's plugged in, it'll also keep the batteries charged. It's a battery tender, and it's kind of smart too. It won't just constantly dump a fixed level of power. It'll sense what the batteries need. If they're really low, it'll send 10 amps up, for example. If they're charged, it'll just trickle a couple. So it's smart that way. Also, if any of these fuses behind here blow, you'll see them light up, and you'll be able to see them through that perforation, so you'll know. Okay. Now this one right here, this is the inverter switch. So this takes 12 volts from your batteries, and it will invert it to 110 AC, regular household power. So the refrigerator runs off of that, and so does that one plug outside. All you do is go like that. You do that and it starts inverting power. You don't leave it on all the time because you don't need to be inverting. You know, if you're not stopped and you're going to use the refrigerator or whatever, you can just hold it for a second and it'll power down. Okay. All right. So this device here hangs on the wheel. I told you on the way outside, it's like a step that goes on the wheel. Of course, you got a TV. You got switches up here, so on and so forth. The power booster for your digital antenna, that sort of thing. Now also, I'm going to have to come inside here to show you. Hold on one second here. Okay. Alright, so, let's see here. So, obviously that's your TV set, obviously. It works on 12 volts, and it probably, I'm sure it has an adapter for 110 AC also. This is how you turn on your Wi-Fi Ranger here. Okay, so this is a radio, obviously. It'll stream off a USB. You can stream with Bluetooth from your phone or tablet. It has, you know, AM, FM radio, that sort of thing, the usual stuff. And 2 zones, zone 1 and 2. Zone 1 is in the trailer, 2 is outside the trailer. Those are speaker zones. So it does a lot, considering you're camping. This device, or this sticker here, tells us about the Wi-Fi Ranger. Now the Wi-Fi Ranger is a signal booster that will boost public Wi-Fi, and it also has an onboard router. So basically you're going to put in the password to your Wi-Fi Ranger and all your family's devices. It'll just hook up there automatically. Then when you get to a campground, you'll go basically to this URL here, and you'll be able to see, that's the page for this device, you'll be able to see everything it does. You would pick out the campground Wi-Fi or whatever you're going to use and log on. The temporary password has changed me now, 7729. And when you you take your phone out and you're looking at the Wi-Fi, to hook up to it, you'll look for this device right here. That's the name of it right there, okay? There is another feature for it that will allow you to use a SIM card, and it's like you have to pay for cellular service. Most people don't use that feature unless some people will work from their trailer, so that comes in handy, I guess. But generally speaking, people don't use that. But if you choose to, you can add a SIM card to it and get cellular service also. Okay. All right. I think that covers everything in here. Everything. Yes. This panel here is just an access panel for the plumbing and electrical on the behind the outside kitchen. All right. This pulls out, obviously, if you can see it. It pulls forward, and then the cushion goes down, and whoops, I'm sorry, and you'll be able to sleep on it. Okay, so let me look around a bit more. This is the air conditioner, obviously. It works on 110 AC. Now, with 2 batteries, even if they're totally charged, you're not going to be able to invert that kind of power to run an air conditioner. Just keep that in mind. Also, that is your smoke detector. It's still open just because we know that the battery's not in it. So when you get it, the battery will be in it. All right. I think that covers pretty much everything. You do have a solar panel on the roof. I told you how to look at the monitor panel. Here is the crank I told you about right here. This is the... Here, let me get my flashlight out. I'm sorry. that is the gooseneck piece I told you about that you can use right here to move the bicycles forward and backward. This is your power cord right here. It's a 30 amp cord and it's 30 feet long. This right here, you can see it, is a reducer to reduce that down to a 20 amp system. It's self-explanatory. And I guess that covers it. Never run your water heater without water in it. To make sure that there's water in it, you'll hook up your city water, you'll turn on your hot water valve, and then you'll just run it. When you first turn, if it's empty, when you first turn on, nothing but air will come out of the faucet. After it fills, it'll be a mixture of air and water. Eventually you get solid water coming out. That's how you know that this is full. Then you can turn on the power. Also, to use your onboard water pump is right here. Okay? Alright, so I think that does it. You want to maintain your trailer seals. So every 90 days or so you look up on the roof and you check every place you see sealant on the roof. Check for separation or cracking. Every trailer owner has to do this. So you figure 3 times a season, every 90 days or so. Just take a quick look at it. Also, any covers or shrouds or anything like that, you want to make sure that they weren't damaged by tree branches, or even the roofing membrane isn't damaged by tree branches, so you just inspect it. It's an important thing to do. Okay, I think that's it. Good. Okay, well, thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Remember what I said about inspecting your seals. That's the most important thing you can do as an owner. It has to be winterized in the cold weather so the plumbing doesn't freeze. And as I stated, there are attachments for those cross rails on the roof for kayaks and all kinds of stuff if you ever choose to do something like that. So, okay, thank you very much.